President Donald Trump has just ordered the Pentagon to immediately begin setting up a sixth branch of the military, Space Force. Gosh, I wonder where he got that idea from. This makes perfect sense, of course, because I think we can all agree that we just don't have enough people whose job it is to murder other people right now. We have the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, the Coast Guard, which altogether have about 1.4 million people actively serving and another 1.2 million on call, costing the taxpayers $441.6 billion, the most expensive in the world. And with Trump regularly picking fights with our long-term opponents like Canada, clearly we're going to need some more firepower. Trump says that the Space Force will be responsible for cementing our national identity in space, which is important because everyone knows that in space, no one can hear you scream lies about how great America is. He also says that it'll be necessary for security because we all know that you can't get billions of dollars in tax money without scaring people. Of course, Trump is right to think that our safety is at risk from threats from space. Not from Independence Day style aliens, of course, but from giant fucking rocks currently hurtling towards us. It's not something that might happen one day. It absolutely will happen. One day, an asteroid will collide with the Earth and the results will be very, very bad for us and any other large creatures who currently enjoy having air to breathe and food to eat. It happened before us. I don't know if you remember those dinosaur things, and it's going to happen again. The only way that it won't happen is if we, as in humanity, get our shit together in several ways. First, we have to get way better at detecting near-Earth objects, which are things like asteroids that zing past us closer to Earth than the distance of us to the moon. We know about thousands of those, and we log more and more every week, but we're still missing out on a good 75% of all the big rocks that are skimming by us. We need to have a net of satellites that can identify these objects long before they become a problem. The next step is coming up with a way to alter the course of these objects. Once we know they're on a collision course with Earth, we may be able to blow them up. Ooh, weapons. Trump, you listening? Or nudge them out of the way. And the earlier we can see them, the less we have to nudge them in order to make sure they go off course and don't end up murdering all of humanity. But Rebecca, you may be thinking, surely that's a job that Space Force can handle. That would be nice if we didn't already have an administration specifically set up to deal with threats like that. It's called NASA's Planetary Defense Coordination Office. And for most of its existence, it had a budget of only $4 million until President Obama bumped it way up in the hopes of funding a human mission to an asteroid. And its current budget is $50 million. Still, that's $50 million compared to a single Air Force missile detecting satellite that costs $1.5 billion. The Air Force's space budget for the next 5 years is $44.3 billion. That's right, the Air Force already has a space wing called Air Force Space Command. And while I hate the military in general, I do have to say they got a fucking awesome logo. According to the Air Force Secretary, the Air Force's space funds are, and I quote, to be able to deter, defend, and prevail against anyone who seeks to deny our ability to freely operate in space. I admit that I don't have access to classified documents that may reveal that, say, Canada is planning to somehow stop the US from existing in space. But I do have access to information that says that we are currently being bombarded with tons of material from space, literally tons. And it's not coming from any evil empire here on Earth. Obviously, we need to protect our satellites. And yes, I would love a little early warning detection system if North Korea decides to launch some janky-ass refurbished nuclear missile in our direction. Also, if I were forced to join a branch of the military, obviously I would want it to be called Space Force. I'm a human, after all. I grew up with Voltron. But at the end of the day, we need to recognize the fact that our administration is giving peanuts to a program that can actually save all life on Earth in favor of sending the military to space, a place with absolutely no credible military threats incoming. This isn't a Heinlein novel. If we're going to invest billions of dollars into space, please let us do it intelligently.